hate this. I hate this so much. Hey guys, it is your wax girl Abby here with a sand mold candle Pinterest tutorial-ish. So you need the basics: wax, dye. You can use scent if you want. I didn't. A wick, and you'll need a container that's deep enough for your to make a mold in. I used like a bread pan, I don't know, and some tools to make a mold and some sand that's wet. I double boiled my wax, so there's water in that crock pot, and here you can see some of it starting to melt. Do that as soon as possible, get your wax going, so by the time you're done with your mold, you're ready to go. My sand was wet because apparently it rains here in Oregon over the winter, and so drain off a whole lot of that excess water, use a paper towel to soak it up, because it's nasty. And make your mold. You want your sand wet enough, like to make a sandcastle kind of wet, but you don't want it so wet that there's extra water because it could mix with your wax and make your candle look funky. Not good kind of funky. Also, your candle wick will be sticking up to the top, so make sure your sides either are straight up and down and even, whatever, because the bottom is the base, and unless you want like an inverted pyramid shaped candle, you kind of want your sides to be flat. If you're making like a particular shape, obviously go for that. Experiment, try new things, but know that you can't really remelt this wax because it will have sand in it, unfortunately. So, mold finished. No one ever said I was an artist ever. So wax is still going. I use these giant jars also to make like dip candles. You dip the wick in water and wax back and forth. They're great for that, but I already had it all pre-colored, so I decided to go ahead and use that. So first step is to place your wick. Put your wick on in. Mine are super tall, they're not going to stand up, and if you find you have the same problem, go ahead and add a little wax to the bottom and it will stay up for you. I'm only using these giant wicks because I'm trying to get rid of them because I have so many and I don't use them for anything. Use a smaller wick or trim yours, it'll stay up easier. Just a thought. Super professional. So, wick is in place where I want it, sort of. Now, once your wax is melted, mine was super hot, so I wrapped it in a towel. Go ahead and pour it in, and as you can tell, the professional I am, you can tell I've been doing this forever. My bad. Every time. I spill every time. Anyway, it should look a little something like this. Maybe a little cleaner. But that's okay, because you can perform candle surgery. Be gentle, because my wax was still hot. I didn't want it to crack, like might happen while it was fully hardened. So while it's still kind of soft and malleable, sure. I took an X-Acto blade and just sliced off the little mermaid tail there that I wasn't intending on putting on my candle in the first place. Go ahead and pull that piece off. Or just don't make a mistake and then you won't have to do this step. I can't really remelt this wax because, like I said earlier, it's got a whole bunch of sand in it. Otherwise I would keep the wax. But, Okay, so anyway, now that it's all fixed, go ahead and, once it is hard enough to remove, start scooping the sand away. I find it's a little easier if some of the top sand is kind of pushed back. It's pretty much, you can tell it's ready when the top's pretty solid. It stops being super warm. It starts to cool down a little on the outside. So I just kind of dug out my candle a little bit until I felt comfortable with popping it out because it is still slightly setting. So yeah, kick off some sand and see how creepy it looks underneath. I don't know if I just really am awful at doing these or what, but I would not, 10 out of 10, would not display this in my house, personally. I think I'm just really awful at these because I've seen some online that look nice, but then I'm skeptical if they even put them in sand to begin with. So trim your wick 1/4 of an inch. Mine should probably be a little shorter, but yeah. So these are the candles I made. I washed them off, that's why they're shiny and wet, just to get the excess sand off as much as I could, but yeah, there'll be sand trapped in there. So yeah, these seem like something out of a horror movie. Make at your own risk. I think I'm just really terrible. I don't think this is a Pinterest fail. I think this is an Abby you can't do sand candles fail. Which is okay. I mean, there's first time for everything. But the good news is that they light, which is what a good candle should do. That's the important part. Yeah, so if I've completely messed this up, let me know in the comments how to fix it. Thanks, guys. This is Abby Annabelle, your wax girl. Let me know if you have any ideas for my next video. And like, subscribe, whatever. Hope to see you soon.